Hey everybody, Jake here from Bearded Gear, and I got a box to open. This is actually the first time I've ever ordered anything from NC Blade. They're in North Carolina, which is why I assume they're called NC Blade. But this is the new Chaves T.A.K, T-A-K. I think that stands for, pardon my French, tiny ass knife. I think that's actually why they named it that. So it's a little baby Chaves, and I have had two Chaves knives now. I've had the Redencion, I think is what the Reat made ones are called. I've had the 228 and the 229. The 229 I actually really liked. That one my daughter named Death Skull. It was the all black one, and I was tempted to keep that knife long term. Ended up selling it to a buddy, but I did enjoy that knife. I found it fun and interesting. Chaves in the last few months, like coming into 2021, has released kind of like a calendar or like a sheet basically of knives that are going to be released during this year. There's a bunch of interesting stuff on it, things that are pretty different from what he's done from a production standpoint before. And this is one of those things that's really different. This thing is like a 2 3/4 inch blade, sub 3 inches, right? And still has a skull clip. I think this one may or may not have an extra clip with it. I want to say I saw in the Chaves group on Facebook that in the future these will come with both clips, but this first run it might not. I think they were saying it doesn't. Just kind of a bummer. I would like to have that other clip with it too. I imagine maybe they'll let you buy them on the website when they become available or something like that. I don't know that I'm going to love this knife even long enough to keep it for that to happen, but I'm curious about it. I'm genuinely curious about a sub 3 inch blade Chaves flipper that's Reat built in green micarta, and it's a liner lock, not a frame lock. There's a lot of interesting things happening here. So I'm going to unbox this, and then I actually also got a package from Knafs. I made an order on Knafs.com recently, so I'll unbox that on the same video. Keep it together today. I mostly just don't feel like recording two things today. I recorded a whole bunch last night, and then I was editing last night. I've been editing today, and yeah, we're just gonna do the one unboxing today, fam. All right, so using my new Spartan Talos I got from River's Edge Cutlery to do this unboxing, carrying it today. Interesting little knife so far. All right, let's get in here. So first things first, we've got an NC Blade sticker. Like I said, never used these guys before. I follow, I assume it's the guy behind it. Brandon NC Blade is what the Instagram is called. I think that's his name. And I just happened to see that they posted these first. I'd been kind of on the lookout for them to come out. Didn't know how hard they were going to be to get. I think at the moment there's probably some sitting on shelves in a number of places. I know I saw Knife Joy ended up getting some. I don't know if they still have some, but some of the retailers that I order from a lot ended up getting them after, but I just was impatient, and the first time that I saw, hey, somebody has these, it was NC Blade, and I just jumped at the opportunity and bought this one. So I went with green micarta. There were a couple of options. I know there was also black micarta, I think. No, I'm not positive there was black micarta. I think there was. There was carbon fiber, also I think, and I know there was titanium. So there's ones with titanium scales, and it's a liner lock. Even then, it's not a frame lock because you get titanium. But look at this little sucker. Tiny little guy. So this box is consistent with both of the Chaves knives I've had in the past, but it's just scaled down to fit this tiny little baby knife. Let's get it out of here. What's really in that foam? There we go. Alright, yeah, so there's no additional clip in here, and this foam doesn't lift up. So apparently this is one of those, because it's first batch, there's no second clip with it, is what it is. I grew to be okay with the Chaves clip on the 229 that I had, because it just feels kind of like it's part of the identity of his knives. Alright, so yeah, very first thing I noticed is these titanium liners are pretty thick under the micarta. Looks very Chaves to me. The lines of the knife, the skull clip, this jimping that I already can tell you I hate. That's one of my pet peeves. I don't like aggressive jimping, especially when it's sharp, and this is really sharp. So that's gonna probably end up counting against it ergonomically, but let's see how it flips. Ooh, that's real snappy. It's a stout little blade, thick blade stock for such a small knife. But it's got the, I went with the drop point. There's also a Tanto. This is a very typical Chaves drop point profile. You've got the compound grind, so it's hollow here, flat up to the tip. You've got this big swedge up on it. All the same branding that you would typically see. I don't think, yeah, that's not a forward finger choil because it's just not big enough, but it would be kind of cool if it was, I think, with how small this knife is, although then you'd lose quite a bit of blade length if you made that big enough for a finger. So definitely a 3-finger knife. My pinky's just kind of hanging off back here. Hate the jimping, I'll tell you that right now, immediately. I hate that. Hate it, hate it, hate it. I wish that jimping was gone. If that could be erased from this knife, it would already have a much better chance of being liked. It's boxy too. These scales are very much just slabs of micarta, no chamfering, no rounding. It's just, this knife is, or this handle is a rectangle with a cutout right here. That's all you're getting. I guess it's slightly rounded back here, but let's see how it closes. It's a really good Riat action. I mean, it's kind of what I would expect from a Riat liner lock at this point. That flipper tab is massive too. Look how big that sucker is. It's just in case you need to pick at something. I don't know. A large flipper tab, no jimping on it or anything. Literally the only jimping on the entire knife is right here. And I hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. I do think this knife would be so much better without it. It's so aggressive that it's like painful to push down on. And if the idea of jimping is just to give you a traction point, right? This has taken it too far. Because it's also, I've heard it said, as a defense of aggressive jimping, that oftentimes it's put on knives that you're designed to use like in gloved hands. Because in gloves, everything feels different. You don't have the same sensitivity in your hands that you would barehanded, right? No one in their right mind is ever going to use this tiny little knife with gloves on. Good luck trying to manipulate a tiny little baby liner lock as your hard-use gloved hands knife. No, not happening. So, I don't know. I do think aesthetically it looks very Chaves to have that jimping there, but I can tell you right now I'm going to have a hard time liking this knife at all because it's right where my thumb lands, and to choke my thumb further forward too, I can, I guess, if I'm reaching for it, but then it's on the swedge, and the swedge gets real thin, so it's not a great platform to set my thumb on. I can choke back, but then it feels like, why do I have this tiny little blade that I'm then like so far back in a saber grip on? And a little blade like this, I want to like choke up on it, and I guess, I don't know, maybe hammer grip is going to be the only comfortable way to do that, because that's just unfortunate. That jimping is so rough. It's just really, really sharp. Like, I don't know, let me see if I can demonstrate a little bit how rough it is. So this is just the like invoice paper that it came with. It's just, it's like, it's tearing it, you know, it's not gentle. I really wish that wasn't a thing. I was hoping to like this knife a lot more. Because it's just exciting that Chaves is playing a different game. Especially like with these production knife series that he's coming out with. Like these Riat built knives, they're fantastic quality. They're made really well because Riat crushes it. And I feel like his design language is unique, and he's a cool guy, and I like him, and I think his knives look awesome, and they seem to perform well, and like these grinds are sweet. There's a lot of things that I like about him and his knives, but there's these little nitpicky things. Like the clip, like I said, I'm basically over at this point. Like even if there wasn't another clip option coming for this knife, I could live with the idea that because this is a Chaves, it's got the skull clip. But his thing moving forward is that there is going to be the option. So that's even removed from the equation now, potentially. You could have just a normal looking clip on your Chaves. I think this one with the hole pattern as well, you might even be able to sneak on like a deep carry clip or something, although the hardware would have to change because this is a thick titanium clip, and the screws would have to travel further than if you had a loop over deep carry clip. So I don't know. That may or may not be possible, but I'm a little frustrated that this jimping is so awful. I'm sure there are some people out there who are glad this jimping is there, but I don't know. I hate it. Just call that my preference, call it whatever you want. I don't get any benefit from that feature. I think this knife would also look really, really cool even without it. If it didn't have those little notches in the blade, we'd still have a cool looking knife here. But man, I don't know. This knife, unless it really redeems itself being in my pocket today, it might not even make it to full review. I might just sell this thing at a slight loss and give it to somebody else who's wanting to try one. I'm really not into that. Otherwise, I'm okay with it. But it's a small knife, and small knife ergos are going to be really, really important, because if it's already small and then it sucks to hold on to, then it's like not going to be good. I don't know. All right, we'll see. So let's open the Knafs package real quick, because I said I was going to do that. This should be a little more positive, I hope. Oh, what? Thanks for the order, Jake. We appreciate it. Ben and Athena. If you didn't catch my my podcast with Ben, it was really fun. Actually, his wife, Athena, was able to hop on for a quick second at the end because she was walking by, like right as we were talking about her, which was pretty cool to be able to talk to her as well. She's super involved over there. She's crushing it. All right, so I ordered two things. One, the new titanium ruler just came out, and I didn't pre-order it or anything because I just didn't at the time, but I wanted to grab one. So I've got a Knafs sticker, and then a thanks for your order, best Mal. I don't know who Mal is. Maybe that's M-A-I. I think it's Mal. Maybe Mal is short for Mallory. Thank you, Mal. And in here we have the titanium ruler in gold. And part of why I wanted to get this was because I just at this point I have a lot of trinkety things on my desk, and this is another thing I can put, like literally I just have like my on the edge mug right now with KPL and drivers in it, and then I've got this whole like board set up here with drivers and stickers and pens and all this stuff. And so this is another thing I can have on my desk that has some utility and might be useful. But also because it has the edge angle finder. I thought that was really cool that they included that, because I'll probably actually use that more than I will use like the ruler for measuring lengths of things. So let me show you that real quick. Alright, so on here, yeah, titanium ruler and angle finder. Basically, these notches in the end are what you use to find the edge angle that's on a knife prior to sharpening it, so that you can then match that angle or reprofile it appropriately or whatever you decide to do after that with that information. Now you've got the information. So I think that's pretty cool. We've got American measurements over here and everywhere else on the other side, so either or. Yeah, pretty cool. I went with the gold anodized color. I just kind of picked one. I didn't really have too much preference, but it seemed cool, and it's titanium. It's pretty sweet. Feels quality. Alright, so there's the ruler. Also in there came a sticker and a little like information thing about it. It says you can use it. It says how to use the angle finder. Alright. Anyway, then I don't know how I didn't have one of these yet. I don't have any of the Knafs posters or anything, and I don't have that many places to like put up posters on the walls here. Maybe wherever we live next would be great, but this is like the shop mat with Knafs poster type of stuff on it. I don't know if this is, I don't think it's the same as the Knafs poster, but it's similar to the Knafs poster, and I figured this would actually be real useful because I do a lot of disassemblies and working on stuff, and it's a nice, there's another Knafs sticker in here. I'm becoming Knafs sticker rich, guys. So yeah, it's got like this rubberized stuff on the back so that it won't slide around if it's on a hard surface. And then this side, you've got the banter, front and center, and then you've got different types of blade shapes, different types of grinds, and pretty cool. Plus, I guess if I ever am taking apart my my banter. Not that I'm worried I wouldn't be able to figure it out, but now I've got like a parts list and that kind of diagram type of thing showing that. So anyway, just figured it was time for me to have one of his shop mats, and the titanium ruler just came out, so I ordered the titanium ruler, and then I was like, while I'm on the site, I might as well grab one of these as well. Anyway, thanks Ben, Athena, and apparently Mal, whoever you are. You guys are awesome. So I guess that's it. The stuff is out of the box. Happy with this. Not quite happy yet with this. We'll see. Maybe it'll win me over. I don't know. Maybe I should like take a Dremel to this. I'm not going to do that, but I'd literally rather like have it be like just a notch out of there, like a divot that I could set my thumb into or something. I bet I could have someone mod it to do that, just remove the teeth in there, flatten the whole thing out. But then I'm like sending this out, paying somebody to freaking mod it, and why? Why have that jimping? Alright, we'll see what happens with this, guys. I'll keep you updated. Maybe it'll be like, hey, I sold that because I didn't like it. Maybe you'll see a first impressions and a review. I don't know yet, but I'll play with it a little bit and see if I can get over it. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you guys on the next one.